The secure elevator descended 15 floors beneath the Pentagon, past levels that didn't exist on any official blueprint, into a realm where America's darkest secrets were housed behind titanium doors and quantum encryption systems. President Harrison Mitchell felt his ears pop as they reached the bottom, where the fluorescent lights cast an eerie glow on polished concrete walls that had never seen natural sunlight. It was 3:47 a.m. on a Tuesday in March, and the president had been awakened by his chief of staff with the words that every commander-in-chief dreads. "Sir, there's been a development that requires your immediate attention at the highest classification level." Now, flanked by 2 Secret Service agents whose clearance levels exceeded most cabinet members, Mitchell found himself in sub-level 15, a facility so classified that its existence was known to fewer than 30 people worldwide. The man waiting for him was Dr. Elena Vasquez, director of the Department of Extraordinary Phenomena, a division that officially didn't exist, but had operated continuously since 1952. Her face was grave as she led him through a series of biometric scanners and into a conference room where the air itself seemed heavy with the weight of forbidden knowledge. "Mr. President," she began, her voice steady despite the magnitude of what she was about to reveal. "What I'm going to show you tonight will fundamentally alter your understanding of our species and our place in the universe. More importantly, it will force you to make decisions that no president in history has ever had to face." The thick manila folders on the table were marked with classification levels that went beyond top secret, beyond even the president's usual security clearance, and as Mitchell reached for the first file, he had no idea that his world was about to change forever. Dr. Vasquez activated a holographic display system that materialized above the conference table, showing what appeared to be ordinary citizens going about their daily lives in cities across America. "Mr. President, for the past 71 years, since the Roswell incident that the public believes was covered up, we have been engaged in what we call the Integration Protocol. What crashed in New Mexico wasn't just an alien spacecraft. It was a research vessel containing biological samples and genetic material that would revolutionize our understanding of life itself." The hologram shifted to show laboratory facilities hidden beneath major metropolitan areas, where scientists in hazmat suits worked with equipment that seemed decades ahead of current technology. "The beings we encountered weren't just visitors, sir. They were refugees from a dying world, and they came here with a proposal that would ensure the survival of both our species. In exchange for sanctuary on Earth, they would share their advanced genetic technologies to help humanity evolve and adapt to the environmental challenges they had foreseen would threaten our planet." Mitchell felt his mouth go dry as the implications began to sink in. The images showed children in what appeared to be specialized incubation chambers, their DNA sequences displayed on screens that revealed genetic markers unlike anything in the human genome. The first generation of human-alien hybrids was born in 1955, Dr. Vasquez continued, her voice clinical yet tinged with something that sounded like awe. They were raised in secure facilities, carefully monitored and educated, but as they matured, it became clear that they were superior to baseline humans in virtually every measurable way. Enhanced intelligence, disease resistance, longevity, and abilities that we're still struggling to understand. The president stared at the holographic displays showing ordinary-looking people whose genetic makeup told an extraordinary story, and he began to realize that the world he thought he knew was nothing more than an elaborate illusion. Block 3. The holographic display zoomed in on specific individuals, showing their locations tracked in real time across the continental United States. Dr. Vasquez manipulated the interface to display detailed biological profiles that read like science fiction made manifest. Today, Mr. President, there are approximately 847 confirmed hybrids living integrated lives in American society. They have normal jobs, normal families, and to all external appearances, they are indistinguishable from ordinary humans. But their cellular structure is remarkable. They age at roughly half the rate of normal humans. Their immune systems can adapt to previously unknown pathogens within hours, and their cognitive abilities average 40% higher than the baseline human population. Mitchell watched as the display showed a woman teaching at a university in Boston, her genetic profile revealing alien markers that comprised nearly 30% of her DNA. Another screen showed a man working as a physician in Denver, his enhanced healing abilities allowing him to diagnose illnesses that would stump conventional medicine. The most extraordinary aspect, sir, is their reproductive capability. When hybrids reproduce with humans, their offspring retain the beneficial alien traits while appearing completely normal. The genetic integration is so seamless that even advanced DNA testing would show nothing unusual unless you knew exactly what markers to look for. Dr. Vasquez paused, allowing the president to absorb the magnitude of what he was seeing. What we're witnessing is the controlled evolution of humanity, sir. Each generation becomes more resilient, more intelligent, more capable of surviving the challenges that our original alien contacts predicted would threaten our species within the next 50 years. The room fell silent except for the hum of the holographic projectors, and Mitchell realized he was looking at evidence of the most successful cover-up in human history, one that had been protecting not just alien visitors, but the future of humanity itself. Block 4, Doctor. Vasquez activated another section of the display, revealing a complex organizational chart that showed the hybrid integration program structure throughout the American government and private sector. The program has been self-sustaining for decades, Mr. President. Many of the hybrids have gravitated toward positions of influence and responsibility, drawn by their enhanced cognitive abilities and their instinctive understanding of complex systems. Mitchell's blood ran cold as he saw familiar names and faces on the display. Senators, federal judges, CEOs of major corporations, university presidents, and even a few individuals he had personally appointed to cabinet positions. They're not infiltrators or sleeper agents, sir. They genuinely care about America and humanity's future. Their alien heritage has given them a longer perspective on global challenges, and they've been quietly working to steer policy decisions towards sustainable solutions that will benefit our species in the long term. The president felt the ground shifting beneath his feet as he realized that decisions he thought were his own might have been influenced by individuals whose genetic makeup included extraterrestrial components. Doctor, Vasquez, are you telling me that my own administration has been compromised? She shook her head emphatically. Not compromised, sir. Enhanced. These individuals have been protecting America and advancing human interests more effectively than purely human officials ever could. They've prevented 3 potential nuclear conflicts, guided environmental policies that will prove crucial for climate adaptation, and accelerated technological development in ways that will benefit all of humanity. The holographic display showed a timeline of major policy decisions over the past 70 years, with hybrid involvement marked in blue. The pattern was undeniable. Every significant positive development in American policy had some level of hybrid influence, while the greatest disasters and missteps had occurred when their advice was ignored or when they were excluded from decision-making processes. Block 5. The next revelation hit Mitchell like a physical blow as Dr. Vasquez activated a personal profile system that scanned his own biometric data against the hybrid database. Mr. President, there's something else you need to know about your own family history. The display showed his genealogical chart extending back 4 generations, with certain individuals highlighted in the distinctive blue that indicated hybrid heritage. Your great-grandmother, Sarah Mitchell, was part of the 2nd-generation integration program. She was placed with a farming family in Iowa in 1943, where she met and married your great-grandfather. Your family line carries approximately 12% alien genetic markers, which explains your exceptional memory, your resistance to common illnesses, and your ability to process complex information at a rate that has impressed advisors throughout your political career. Mitchell stared at his own genetic profile in stunned silence, seeing markers that proved his DNA was unlike that of ordinary humans. This is why you were identified as a potential presidential candidate early in your career, sir. The hybrid community recognized one of their own and worked to ensure your political success, knowing that having someone with enhanced abilities in the highest office would benefit both human and hybrid populations. The implications were staggering. His entire political career, his rise to the presidency, his policy instincts, everything he thought he knew about himself was suddenly cast in an entirely different light. The question now, Mr. President, is what you choose to do with this knowledge. Your alien heritage gives you capabilities that pure humans lack, but it also connects you to a community that has been working in secret to guide humanity's evolution for over 70 years. Dr. Vasquez leaned forward, her expression intense. You have the opportunity to either continue the careful integration that has been protecting our species, or to expose everything and potentially destroy the most successful interspecies cooperation in recorded history. The choice and its consequences are entirely yours. Block 6, Mitchell's mind reeled as he tried to process the magnitude of what he had learned about himself and the world around him. The secure conference room suddenly felt claustrophobic, filled with the weight of 7 decades of secrets that had just been placed on his shoulders. Dr. Vasquez, I need to understand the full scope of this program. How many people know about the hybrid population? What safeguards are in place? And what are the long-term goals of this integration? She activated another series of displays that showed the program's command structure, revealing a shadow government that operated parallel to official channels. Fewer than 200 individuals worldwide have complete knowledge of the program, sir. Most are either hybrids themselves or humans who have proven their absolute loyalty over decades of service. The program is funded through black budget allocations that don't appear in any official documentation, and its operations are compartmentalized to such a degree that even most intelligence agencies are unaware of its existence. The display showed research facilities on every continent, communication networks that bypassed traditional government channels, and technological capabilities that were generations ahead of publicly known science. The long-term goal, Mr. President, is species survival. Our alien partners have seen their own world die due to environmental collapse and resource depletion. They've shared projections showing that Earth faces similar challenges within the next century unless humanity evolves both genetically and culturally to meet those threats. Mitchell studied the climate models and resource depletion charts that painted a grim picture of humanity's future without intervention. The hybrid program isn't just about creating enhanced individuals, sir. It's about ensuring that human civilization has the tools and capabilities needed to survive challenges that would otherwise prove extinction-level events. Every hybrid birth, every policy decision influenced by enhanced individuals, every technological advancement guided by alien knowledge is part of a carefully orchestrated plan to save our species. Block 7. As the briefing continued into the early hours of morning, Dr. Vasquez revealed the most sensitive aspect of the hybrid program, the existence of what she called the collective, a telepathic network that connected hybrids across the globe. Enhanced individuals can communicate with each other across vast distances, sharing information, coordinating responses to global threats, and making collective decisions that affect both hybrid and human populations. This network has been instrumental in preventing conflicts, managing economic crises, and guiding scientific discoveries that benefit all of humanity. The holographic display showed a real-time map of hybrid communications, looking like a glowing neural network spread across the planet with information flowing at the speed of thought. The collective doesn't control human governments, Mr. President, but it does provide guidance and influence to ensure that major decisions take into account consequences that purely human leaders might not foresee. Mitchell felt a chill as he realized that his own policy instincts might have been influenced by this telepathic network without his knowledge. Sir, you've likely experienced moments of sudden insight or intuitive understanding about complex issues. Those weren't random inspiration. They were your hybrid heritage, allowing you to briefly connect with the collective's accumulated wisdom. The president thought back to pivotal moments in his career when he had made decisions that seemed to come from nowhere but had proved remarkably prescient, and he began to understand that his success might not have been entirely his own achievement. The question we face now, Mr. President, is whether to formally integrate you into the collective's operations. Your position gives you unique influence over American policy, and your hybrid heritage makes you capable of fully participating in the network. But once you're fully connected, there's no going back. You'll have access to information and capabilities beyond anything you've experienced, but you'll also be responsible for protecting secrets that could destabilize human civilization if they were ever revealed. Block 8. Dr. Vasquez led the president deeper into the classified facility, through corridors lined with laboratories where the impossible had become routine over 7 decades of secret research. Behind reinforced glass windows, Mitchell could see scientists working with technology that defied his understanding of physics, devices that seemed to manipulate matter at the molecular level, computers that processed information using principles that appeared to be quantum mechanical, and medical equipment that could repair genetic damage in real time. This is where the real work happens, Mr. President. Every advancement in human technology over the past 70 years has had its foundation in alien science shared through the hybrid program. The internet, GPS navigation, medical imaging, even the smartphone in your pocket, all were developed using principles that we learned from our extraterrestrial partners. The tour continued through facilities that housed hybrid children being raised and educated in preparation for integration into human society. Unlike the sterile laboratory environments Mitchell had expected, these areas looked more like elite boarding schools, where children who appeared perfectly normal were receiving educations that included subjects not found in any human curriculum. These young hybrids learn not just traditional academics, but also how to control their enhanced abilities, how to integrate seamlessly into human society, and how to use their gifts to benefit both species. They're taught that their primary mission is to protect and guide humanity through the challenges ahead, even if that means remaining forever hidden from the people they're trying to save. Avit Mitchell watched through observation windows as children who looked no different from his own grandchildren demonstrated abilities that should have been impossible, solving complex mathematical equations through pure intuition, communicating telepathically across rooms, and manipulating electronic devices without any physical contact. Every one of these children will grow up to become a doctor, scientist, teacher, or leader who will spend their lives working to ensure humanity's survival. They're not just the future of our species, Mr. President. They are our species' only hope for long-term survival in a universe that has proven far more dangerous and challenging than we ever imagined. Block 9. The most shocking revelation came when Dr. Vasquez brought the president to a secure communication chamber where they could speak directly with representatives of the original alien civilization that had initiated the hybrid program. The room contained technology that seemed to bend space itself, creating a communication link across what Mitchell was told were thousands of light years of distance. Through a shimmering portal that defied all known physics, he found himself looking at beings whose appearance was both alien and strangely familiar. Tall, graceful figures with enlarged craniums and eyes that held the wisdom of ages, but whose basic humanoid form suggested a shared evolutionary heritage. "President Mitchell," the lead alien communicated without words, the thoughts appearing directly in his mind with crystal clarity. "We greet you as both a leader of your people and as family, for your hybrid heritage makes you part of our extended community. We have watched your species with great interest and growing concern, for you face challenges that mirror those that destroyed our own world millennia ago." The alien's mental voice carried emotions that transcended language: deep sadness for their own lost civilization, hope for humanity's future, and a determination to prevent Earth from suffering the same fate as their homeworld. The hybrid program was never intended as conquest or infiltration, but as salvation for both our peoples. "We needed new bodies adapted to Earth's environment to continue our species' existence, while you needed the genetic enhancements and technological knowledge to survive the trials ahead." Mitchell felt overwhelmed by the direct mind-to-mind contact, which conveyed not just words, but complete concepts, emotions, and even memories that weren't his own. "Your role as a hybrid leader is crucial, President Mitchell. The next decade will bring challenges that will test humanity's ability to survive as a civilization. Climate change, resource depletion, social upheaval, and threats from space that your scientists have not yet detected all require responses that only enhanced humans with access to our accumulated knowledge can provide." Block 10. The alien representatives shared visions of the future that were both terrifying and hopeful, showing Mitchell potential timelines where humanity either thrived or faced extinction depending on the choices made in the coming years. Through the telepathic link, he experienced possible futures where enhanced humans and traditional humans worked together to terraform other worlds, develop sustainable technologies, and create a galactic civilization that honored both human creativity and alien wisdom. But he also saw darker timelines where the hybrid program was exposed prematurely, leading to panic, persecution of enhanced individuals, and ultimately the collapse of human civilization as it faced challenges it was unprepared to meet. The integration process must continue gradually, President Mitchell. Each generation must contain a higher percentage of enhanced individuals, but the transition must be so smooth that traditional humans never realize it's happening. By the time the general population is ready to learn the truth about their evolution, enhanced humans must comprise a significant enough percentage of the species to guide the revelation and prevent chaos. The aliens showed him detailed plans spanning the next 2 centuries, outlining how humanity would gradually be prepared for full integration with galactic civilization, while preserving the unique qualities that made human culture valuable to the cosmic community. Your presidency represents a crucial inflection point in this process. Decisions you make over the next few years will determine whether humanity successfully navigates the transition to become a spacefaring civilization, or whether your species joins the countless others that failed to adapt to the challenges of cosmic citizenship. As the communication session ended and the portal closed, Mitchell found himself back in the sterile conference room, but his mind was forever changed by direct contact with an intelligence that had witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations across the galaxy. The weight of responsibility for humanity's future now rested squarely on his shoulders, and every decision he made as president would carry consequences that extended far beyond Earth's boundaries. Block 11, Dr. Vasquez returned the president to the main briefing room, where additional files contained the most sensitive information of all, detailed plans for what would happen if the hybrid program was ever discovered by the general public or hostile foreign governments. Mr. President, we have contingency protocols in place for every possible scenario, from accidental exposure to deliberate revelation to hostile action against hybrid populations. The consequences of premature disclosure would be catastrophic, not just for the enhanced individuals, but for humanity as a whole. The files outlined scenarios where panic about alien infiltration could lead to witch hunts, genetic testing programs that would tear apart families, and the potential for civil war between enhanced and traditional humans. History has shown us how humans react to those they perceive as different or threatening. The enhanced individuals living among us would face persecution that would make historical atrocities look mild by comparison, and the knowledge and capabilities needed to address future challenges would be lost in the chaos. Mitchell studied intelligence reports showing how certain foreign governments and extremist organizations had been actively searching for evidence of alien presence on Earth, motivated by everything from national security concerns to religious fanaticism. The most dangerous scenario, sir, involves premature contact between hostile human factions and our alien partners. If unprepared humans gained access to alien technology without the ethical framework and gradual integration that the hybrid program provides, the results could include everything from global warfare using alien weapons to attempts to capture and enslave alien individuals for their knowledge. The president realized that his knowledge of the program now made him one of the most protected individuals on the planet, but also one of the most dangerous if that knowledge was ever extracted from him through torture, coercion, or advanced interrogation techniques. This is why the records of this briefing will be classified beyond any normal security level and will eventually be erased entirely from official documentation. Your knowledge of the hybrid program makes you both its greatest protector and its greatest potential threat. Block 12. As dawn approached, Dr. Vasquez presented the president with the most difficult decision any world leader had ever faced: whether to formally join the hybrid collective and become an active participant in humanity's guided evolution, or to maintain his role as an unknowing participant while the program continued around him. The choice you make now will determine not just your own future, but the trajectory of human civilization for generations to come. As a formal member of the collective, you would have access to information and capabilities that would make you the most effective president in history, but you would also be bound by obligations to the hybrid community that might conflict with traditional American interests. The holographic displays show detailed projections of how Mitchell's presidency could unfold under both scenarios, as an enhanced leader working with perfect information about global threats and opportunities, or as a traditional president making decisions based on incomplete human understanding of complex situations. The alien partners have made it clear that they will not intervene directly in human affairs, but they will provide guidance and support to hybrid leaders who demonstrate wisdom and commitment to long-term species survival. Your enhanced heritage gives you the potential to access their accumulated knowledge spanning thousands of years and multiple civilizations. Mitchell found himself facing a choice between remaining fully human with all the limitations that entailed, or embracing an alien heritage that would grant him capabilities beyond anything in human experience, but would also forever separate him from purely human concerns and perspectives. There is one more thing you should know, Mr. President. If you choose full integration with the collective, you will discover that several of your most trusted advisors, cabinet members, and even family friends are also enhanced individuals who have been protecting and guiding you throughout your career. The network of hybrid support that brought you to the presidency runs deeper than you could possibly imagine. As the president contemplated this final revelation, he realized that his decision would not just affect his own life, but would determine whether humanity continued its gradual evolution toward cosmic citizenship, or whether the greatest secret in human history would remain buried until it was too late to prevent the catastrophes that lay ahead. Block 13. The president spent the next hour in complete silence, reviewing files that contained evidence of how the hybrid program had prevented global disasters, guided technological development, and influenced policy decisions that had shaped the modern world. Every major breakthrough in medicine, every successful international negotiation, every technological innovation that had improved human life, all had some level of hybrid involvement or influence. He saw classified reports showing how enhanced individuals had secretly prevented nuclear wars, guided economic policies that prevented global depressions, and even influenced cultural movements that had expanded human understanding of tolerance and cooperation. Dr. Vasquez, what you're showing me suggests that human civilization as we know it has been artificially guided for 7 decades. How can I be sure that any of our achievements are genuinely human? She nodded, understanding the philosophical crisis he was experiencing. That's the beauty of the program, Mr. President. The hybrids don't replace human achievement. They enhance human potential. Every scientific discovery, every work of art, every act of heroism that has shaped our civilization came from individuals who were still fundamentally human in their hearts and minds. The alien heritage simply gave them the tools to achieve what human spirit and creativity made possible. The evidence was overwhelming. Hybrid-influenced periods in history showed dramatically reduced warfare, increased scientific progress, and improved social cooperation, while periods when hybrid influence was limited saw increased conflict, stagnation, and social upheaval. The program doesn't control human destiny, sir. It simply ensures that humanity has the wisdom and capabilities needed to make choices that serve long-term species survival rather than short-term individual or national interests. Mitchell realized that his decision would essentially determine whether humanity continued to receive this guidance as it faced the greatest challenges in its history, or whether the species would be left to face those challenges with only its natural, unenhanced capabilities. The weight of that responsibility was almost unbearable, but as he looked at the evidence of how much the program had already accomplished, he began to understand that the choice was really between guided evolution and potential extinction. Block 14. Dr. Vasquez activated one final display that showed the president what his world would look like if he chose to reject the hybrid program and expose its existence to the public. The simulation was devastating. Mass panic as people learned that enhanced individuals had been living among them. Global economic collapse as hybrid-guided institutions failed. And ultimately, the breakdown of international cooperation as nations turned against each other in paranoia and fear. This isn't speculation, Mr. President. We've run these scenarios using the most advanced modeling systems available, incorporating data from psychological studies, historical analysis, and social dynamics research. The revelation of the hybrid program before humanity is prepared would trigger the collapse of modern civilization within 18 months. The simulation showed families torn apart by genetic testing, universities and research institutions destroyed by mobs searching for alien influence, and governments falling as leaders were accused of being hybrid infiltrators. More tragically, sir, the loss of hybrid knowledge and guidance would leave humanity completely unprepared for the climate crisis, resource depletion, and cosmic threats that our models show will emerge within the next 50 years. Without enhanced human leadership and alien technological assistance, our species faces extinction by the end of this century. Mitchell watched in horror as the simulation showed Earth becoming a dead world, its civilization destroyed not by external threats, but by humanity's own inability to accept the help it needed to survive. The irony, Mr. President, is that the very revelation of the program designed to save humanity would trigger the destruction it was meant to prevent. This is why the integration process must continue gradually, why the truth must remain hidden until humans are psychologically and culturally prepared to accept their enhanced relatives as family rather than as threats. The president understood that his decision was not just about his own role in the program, but about whether humanity would have any future at all. The choice was between continued secrecy that enabled survival or truth that guaranteed destruction. Block 15. As the briefing entered its final phase, Dr. Vasquez revealed the most closely guarded secret of all, the existence of what she called the insurance protocol, a fail-safe system designed to preserve human and hybrid populations in the event that Earth became uninhabitable before the integration process was complete. Mr. President, while the hybrid program has been working to ensure humanity's survival on Earth, we have also been preparing for the possibility that planetary evacuation might become necessary. Hidden throughout the solar system are self-sufficient colonies that could house significant portions of both human and hybrid populations, along with the genetic material and cultural knowledge needed to rebuild civilization elsewhere. The holographic display showed bases on the Moon, Mars, several asteroids, and even in the outer reaches of the solar system, all constructed using alien technology and operated by hybrid crews who had spent decades preparing for potential evacuation scenarios. These colonies are not just survival shelters, sir. They're complete civilizations in miniature, equipped with technology that could terraform entire worlds and genetic banks that contain the biological diversity of Earth's entire ecosystem. If the worst-case scenarios come to pass, we can preserve not just human life, but human culture, knowledge, and potential for indefinite expansion throughout the galaxy. Mitchell realized that the scope of the hybrid program extended far beyond Earth, that enhanced humans had been working for decades to ensure species survival on a cosmic scale. The insurance protocol requires a hybrid leader with the highest possible security clearance and decision-making authority to activate if necessary. As president, you are the only individual with both the hybrid heritage and the political authority needed to trigger evacuation procedures if Earth faces imminent destruction. The weight of this responsibility was staggering. Not only was he being asked to protect the secret of humanity's guided evolution, but he was being offered the role of ultimate guardian for the survival of human civilization itself. This is why your presidency was so carefully orchestrated, Mr. President. The hybrid community recognized that the challenges ahead would require leadership that could make decisions based on perfect information about threats and opportunities that traditional human intelligence gathering could never detect. Block 16. The president found himself facing the most momentous decision in human history as Dr. Vasquez presented him with the formal protocols for joining the hybrid collective. The integration process is irreversible, Mr. President. Once you fully activate your hybrid capabilities and join the telepathic network, you will have access to the accumulated knowledge and wisdom of our entire community. But you will also be bound by our collective responsibility to preserve both human and alien civilizations. the room filled with a subtle energy that Mitchell could feel in his bones as advanced technology prepared to unlock genetic potentials that had remained dormant throughout his life. Your enhanced abilities will develop gradually over the next several months, sir. You'll find that your memory becomes perfect, your analytical capabilities expand exponentially, and your intuitive understanding of complex systems reaches levels that appear supernatural to baseline humans. More importantly, you'll gain the ability to communicate directly with hybrid individuals worldwide and to access the strategic planning that guides our efforts to shepherd humanity through the coming challenges. Mitchell understood that accepting the enhancement would make him the most capable president in American history, but it would also fundamentally alter his relationship with the purely human citizens he had sworn to serve. The collective operates on principles of absolute honesty among members and absolute secrecy from the baseline human population. You will know the truth about every major global situation, every hidden threat, and every opportunity for advancing human welfare, but you will also bear the burden of making decisions based on knowledge that you can never fully share or justify to traditional human advisors. As the president contemplated the activation process, he realized that his choice would determine not just his own future, but whether humanity would face the coming centuries with enhanced leadership or would struggle alone with only its natural capabilities to guide survival in an increasingly dangerous universe. Block 17. Dr. Vasquez presented the president with detailed files showing exactly how his administration would change if he chose to join the hybrid collective, including which of his current advisors were already enhanced individuals, and how policy decisions would be influenced by access to alien knowledge and hybrid strategic planning. Mr. President, you should know that your Chief of Staff, your National Security Advisor, and 3 of your cabinet secretaries are already hybrid collective members who have been protecting and guiding your presidency since you took office. Your policy successes have been the result of their enhanced analytical capabilities and their access to information that traditional intelligence agencies cannot obtain. The revelation that his closest advisors had been operating with superhuman capabilities while keeping their true nature secret from him was both reassuring and deeply unsettling. They've been following a careful protocol designed to influence your decisions toward optimal outcomes without revealing their enhanced status or compromising your ability to function as an authentic human leader. But if you join the collective, that pretense will no longer be necessary, and you'll be able to work with them as full partners in managing challenges that require superhuman intelligence and foresight. Mitchell studied profiles of his advisors that revealed their true capabilities: perfect memory, telepathic communication, access to advanced technological analysis, and strategic thinking that incorporated variables spanning decades into the future. The enhanced members of your administration have prevented several potential nuclear conflicts, guided economic policies that averted a major recession, and influenced environmental decisions that will prove crucial for long-term planetary stability. But they've been operating under severe constraints because they couldn't reveal the true sources of their information or the full scope of their capabilities. The president realized that joining the collective would not just enhance his own abilities, but would allow his entire administration to function with unprecedented effectiveness as humanity faced challenges that would test the limits of traditional human problem-solving capabilities. The choice you make tonight, sir, will determine whether your presidency becomes a pivotal moment in human evolution or whether the greatest opportunities in our species' history are lost, because key leaders lacked the enhanced capabilities needed to recognize and act upon them. Block 18. As the clock approached 6 a.m., Dr. Vasquez presented the president with the final piece of information he needed to make his decision: a real-time threat assessment showing the multiple global challenges that would emerge during the remainder of his presidency and would require enhanced human leadership to address successfully. Mr. President, our alien partner's long-range scanning has detected several imminent threats that baseline human intelligence agencies are completely unaware of. Within the next 18 months, Earth will face a solar storm event that could destroy most electronic infrastructure if not properly prepared for. An asteroid approach that requires precise calculation and intervention to prevent impact, and the emergence of a pandemic pathogen that will require immediate development of treatments based on alien medical knowledge. The holographic displays showed detailed projections of how each crisis would unfold and what responses would be necessary to prevent catastrophic damage to human civilization. More critically, sir, our monitoring systems have detected the approach of an alien civilization that is hostile to the species that partnered with us in the hybrid program. They are still decades away from reaching Earth, but preparation for that eventual contact must begin immediately if humanity is to have any chance of surviving the encounter. Mitchell stared at evidence of threats that were beyond anything in his experience as a traditional human leader, challenges that would require knowledge, technology, and strategic capabilities that only enhanced humans could provide. The Hybrid Collective has been developing response protocols for each of these scenarios, but implementing those responses will require a world leader with the enhanced capabilities needed to coordinate global efforts, access alien technology, and make decisions based on perfect information about complex cosmic situations. Dr. Vasquez activated one final display, showing two divergent timelines, one where an enhanced President Mitchell successfully guided humanity through each crisis, maintaining civilization and preparing for eventual galactic citizenship, and another where a purely human president failed to recognize or respond appropriately to the threats, leading to civilizational collapse and potential human extinction. The choice is yours, Mr. President, but understand that it's not just a personal decision about your own capabilities. It's a choice about whether humanity survives the next century or joins the countless species that failed to evolve quickly enough to meet the challenges of cosmic citizenship. Block 19, President Mitchell stood in the center of the enhancement chamber, feeling the weight of human history and the future of civilization resting on his decision. The technology surrounding him was beautiful and terrifying, crystalline structures that seemed to pulse with their own inner light, energy fields that made the air itself shimmer with possibility, and computational systems that processed information at speeds that defied comprehension. Dr. Vasquez, if I choose enhancement, will I still be human? Will I still be able to represent the interests and values of the American people who elected me? She smiled with understanding, recognizing the fundamental question that every human faced when offered alien enhancement. You will be more human than you've ever been, sir. The alien genetic components don't replace human nature, they amplify human potential. Your compassion, creativity, and moral instincts will remain unchanged, but you'll have the cognitive tools needed to implement those values more effectively than any purely human leader could achieve. The enhancement process began with a subtle vibration that seemed to resonate through every cell in Mitchell's body, awakening genetic potentials that had remained dormant since his birth. The first change you'll notice is perfect memory, sir. Every experience, every piece of information, every conversation you've ever had will become accessible with crystal clarity. Then your analytical capabilities will expand, allowing you to process complex information and see patterns that would be invisible to baseline humans. Finally, the telepathic connections will activate, linking you to the collective consciousness that has been guiding humanity's development for 7 decades. As the enhancement progressed, Mitchell felt his consciousness expanding in ways that transcended normal human experience. Information flowed into his mind from sources he couldn't identify. The accumulated knowledge of thousands of enhanced individuals, strategic analyses of global situations that incorporated variables spanning centuries, and most remarkably, direct communication with the alien intelligences that had partnered with humanity in the greatest cooperative effort in Earth's history. The transformation takes approximately 6 hours to complete, Mr. President. During this time, you'll experience temporary disorientation as your neural pathways adapt to process information at superhuman speeds. But when the process is finished, you'll possess capabilities that will make you the most effective world leader in human history. Mitchell realized that there was no going back from this moment. The enhancement would fundamentally alter not just his abilities, but his understanding of reality itself. He would gain access to secrets that would change everything he thought he knew about the universe, but he would also bear the responsibility of using that knowledge wisely to guide humanity through challenges that would test the very survival of the species. Block 20, the enhancement process reached its culmination as President Mitchell's consciousness fully integrated with the hybrid collective, granting him access to a vast network of enhanced minds working in perfect coordination to address global challenges. Through the telepathic link, he could sense hybrid individuals stationed throughout the world, scientists working on revolutionary technologies, diplomats preventing conflicts before they began, economists managing financial systems to prevent collapse, and military strategists planning defenses against threats that traditional human intelligence couldn't even detect. "Welcome to the collective, Mr. President," came the mental voice of Dr. Vasquez, now speaking directly into his mind with perfect clarity. "You now have access to the complete strategic overview of humanity's situation and the challenges we face together." Mitchell's enhanced consciousness processed information at speeds that would have been impossible for his baseline human mind. He understood immediately how every major global situation was interconnected, how decisions made in one region would affect outcomes decades in the future, and how the hybrid collective had been working to optimize human development while maintaining the careful secrecy that protected both enhanced and baseline populations. The most immediate concern, Mr. President, is the solar storm event approaching Earth in 14 months. Traditional human space agencies are completely unaware of its magnitude, but our alien partners' monitoring systems show it will be severe enough to destroy most electronic infrastructure unless we begin preparation immediately. Through the collective consciousness, Mitchell accessed detailed technical specifications for protective technologies that had been developed using alien science but could be implemented through existing human industrial capabilities. Your role will be to authorize the necessary research and development programs through classified channels, while providing cover stories that won't reveal the true source of our information about the threat. Now, the President realized that his enhanced capabilities would allow him to coordinate global responses to multiple crises simultaneously, using resources and knowledge that no traditional human leader could access, while maintaining the secrecy necessary to prevent panic and social disruption. Block 21, as President Mitchell's enhancement process completed and his new capabilities fully activated, he began to understand the true scope of the hybrid program and humanity's place in a galactic community that spanned countless civilizations. Through the collective consciousness, he accessed memories and knowledge from the original alien refugees who had arrived on Earth 70 years earlier, learning about their homeworld's destruction and the lessons they had learned about the challenges facing any evolving species. The pattern repeats across the galaxy, Mr. President. came the mental communication from the alien representatives through the telepathic link. Civilizations reach a critical point where they must either evolve beyond their biological limitations or face extinction from challenges that exceed their natural capabilities. Your species has reached that inflection point, and the hybrid program represents the only viable path towards survival and eventual cosmic citizenship. Mitchell's enhanced mind processed the implications with perfect clarity. Humanity was not unique in needing this guidance, but it was unusual in being willing to accept it. Most species either rejected alien assistance out of pride or fear, or they demanded too much too quickly and destroyed themselves through misuse of advanced technologies. The gradual integration approach we have used on Earth represents our most successful intervention in any civilization's development. By creating hybrid populations that remain fundamentally loyal to their human heritage, while possessing the enhanced capabilities needed for cosmic citizenship, we have achieved a balance that preserves human culture while ensuring species survival. The President understood that his role extended far beyond managing earthly challenges. He was now part of a galactic effort to preserve and nurture developing civilizations throughout the universe. Your enhanced presidency will serve as a model for other hybrid leaders on Earth and as proof to our galactic partners that the integration program can produce leaders capable of bridging the gap between enhanced and baseline populations while guiding entire civilizations through the transition to cosmic awareness. Mitchell realized that every decision he made would be monitored by civilizations throughout the galaxy as evidence of whether humanity was ready to join the broader cosmic community. Block 22, with his enhancement complete and his connection to the hybrid collective fully established, President Mitchell returned to the White House carrying knowledge that fundamentally altered his understanding of his role and responsibilities. To outside observers, he appeared unchanged, the same leader who had entered the Pentagon facility hours earlier. But internally, he possessed capabilities that made him perhaps the most powerful individual in human history. His first enhanced briefing with his advisors revealed the true extent of the hidden infrastructure that had been supporting his presidency from the beginning. Mr. President, his chief of staff began, now speaking openly as one enhanced individual to another, we can finally coordinate our efforts without the limitations that secrecy imposed on our planning. The challenges ahead require perfect information sharing and optimal resource allocation that baseline human bureaucracy simply cannot achieve. Mitchell's enhanced consciousness processed multiple complex scenarios simultaneously as his advisors outlined coordinated responses to threats that traditional human intelligence agencies couldn't even detect. The solar storm preparation will require authorizing 17 different research programs across 8 countries, coordinating with 12 hybrid-controlled corporations to develop protective technologies and managing public information to prevent panic while ensuring adequate preparation. Your enhanced capabilities make it possible to oversee this level of complexity while maintaining normal presidential responsibilities. The president realized that his enhanced status would allow him to function as the central coordination point for global hybrid efforts while appearing to operate as a normal human leader. More importantly, sir, your access to the collective allows us to coordinate responses to multiple simultaneous crises in ways that would be impossible for any baseline human administration. The asteroid deflection mission, pandemic preparation protocols, and defensive planning for eventual hostile alien contact can all proceed in parallel without overwhelming normal government channels. Mitchell understood that his presidency would mark the beginning of a new era in human history, one where enhanced leadership, working with perfect information and cosmic perspective, would guide humanity through challenges that would otherwise prove insurmountable. Block 23. 3 months after his enhancement, President Mitchell stood in the Oval Office reviewing classified reports that showed the remarkable success of hybrid coordinated efforts to address global challenges. The solar storm preparations were proceeding ahead of schedule, with protective technologies being deployed through seemingly routine infrastructure upgrades that would shield human civilization from devastating electromagnetic pulses. The asteroid deflection mission had been approved as a joint NASA-ESA project that appeared to be a routine deep space exploration initiative, but was actually implementing alien-guided technology to alter the trajectory of a potentially catastrophic impact. Most importantly, Mr. President, his enhanced national security advisor reported, the baseline human population remains completely unaware that their survival depends on enhanced individuals working behind the scenes. Public approval ratings show strong support for your administration's forward-thinking policies, while the real work of species protection continues in absolute secrecy. Mitchell's enhanced consciousness allowed him to monitor global hybrid activities in real time while maintaining perfect performance of his traditional presidential duties. The collective has identified 3 additional potential presidents among current governors and senators who carry sufficient hybrid heritage for enhancement when the time is right. The long-term goal is to ensure that enhanced leadership remains available to guide humanity through the challenges of the next century while the integration process continues. The president understood that his success had proven the viability of enhanced leadership at the highest levels of government, paving the way for the gradual transformation of human civilization under hybrid guidance. The most remarkable achievement, sir, is that we have successfully bridged the gap between cosmic consciousness and human political reality. You have demonstrated that enhanced individuals can serve both human and galactic interests simultaneously, protecting baseline humans from knowledge they're not ready to handle while ensuring their survival and eventual evolution. D. As Mitchell reflected on the transformation of his presidency and the hidden revolution occurring throughout human civilization, he realized that the greatest secret in human history would remain safe because it was being protected by leaders who understood that sometimes the most important truths must remain hidden until humanity is ready to embrace its destiny among the stars. The official records of his enhancement had been erased as promised, but the effects of that night would guide human development for generations to come, ensuring that when the time finally came for full disclosure, humanity would be ready to take its place as a cosmic civilization rather than face extinction as just another failed species that couldn't adapt to the challenges of universal citizenship.